This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. It's Monday, October 10th. Here are your top stories of the day. The acquisition of the Northwest Arkansas Business Journal by Natural State Media, the parent company of Talk Business and Politics, is complete. The journal was previously owned by Gray Matters. The two media groups will now coordinate, share content, as well as work as a unified media company. The merger and acquisition was announced in early September. 2016 may be one of the most volatile in the past decade for investors. How's it playing out for Arkansas's publicly traded firms? Well, at the end of the third quarter and for the year, about half have beaten the broader markets while the other half have not. Your big gainer so far for this year, Walmart. It opened the year at $59.96. It closed September 30th at $72.12. Read more at talkbusiness.net. Finally, Arkansas Republican elected officials expressed disgust and reprehension about comments publicly released of GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump, who described his sexual exploits with women, but they did not join a growing number of national Republicans in pulling their endorsements. Governor Asa Hutchinson, Senator John Bozeman, and others said Trump should ask for forgiveness, but they did not call for his withdrawal from the race. House Speaker Jeremy Gillum, Republican of Judsonia, was the lone exception. And you can keep up with those top stories of the day each and every day at talkbusiness.net. Still to come, John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette slices and dices the second presidential debate from last night. We'll go inside the numbers for a look at some major business developments of the last few days. And Michael Tilley breaks down one of the newest findings in our latest Compass report. Stick around.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank, only in Arkansas.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock, and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
Hey, if it's Monday, it's John Brummett. He is in studio with us. Always good to have you with us, my friend.
Good to be here.
I'm going to offer you a Tic Tac like I did when you came in.
We don't need to talk about
no
Tic
doing
Tacs.
That? All right, okay.
In the context of
Well, we will
you
talk
and me.
about Tic Tacs, I think. So,
yeah, but not in that context. Yeah.
Let's talk about everything that has played out over about the last 3 days, beginning with Friday. Late afternoon, we learn of the Access Hollywood tape, and then it just kind of blows up over the weekend. So you can't say you weren't surprised by this. Is this the last of these tapes that you think we will see?
I wouldn't have any idea, but you've got to logically suspect, that if Trump has been around mics like these,
right,
waiting for action and talked into them in ways that might be recorded, there could well be others. But you know, I don't know. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And I wasn't surprised by this one. I was surprised maybe about the utter crudeness of his language. But no one should have been terribly surprised by this sort of behavior or attitude, and I don't think many people really were.
How about the way that it played out, though? So he just basically throws off an apology very early on Friday evening, then comes back with the pre-taped, some referred to it as a hostage situation video. Right. And then we watch on basically almost all of Saturday is just GOP support after GOP support falls off, and then that sets the setting for what was going to be a dramatic debate on Sunday. Were you surprised to see Arkansas politicians hunkering down with Trump despite what was happening all across the nation in terms of unendorsements?
I was not. It's your poll. Trump was up 55-34. Arkansas is a more Republicanized state now than many southern states where there's larger African American shares of the vote. Arkansas is like Kansas or Oklahoma. An Arkansas Republican politician at least a statewide one, could hardly bail out on Trump. Now, I don't think this hurts Trump very much in Arkansas at all, and I think the Arkansas Republican statewide office holders know that. Now, Speaker Gillum, who represents a small district and has sort of a moderate image that requires him to work with the Democrats in his chamber, I wasn't surprised that what was it he said, that he ought to step aside and that Pence maybe should run?
He said he was for Donald Trump stepping down as the presidential
nominee. Now, he could do that, but I would have been utterly shocked if Hutchinson, Rutledge, Griffin, any of Bozeman, any of those gave up Trump over this. I think Trump is a cinch to win in Arkansas and win big, no matter what he does.
What does that say, though, that you don't want to alienate your political base to the point that something that offensive, which there is likely to be more of coming in the weeks ahead, that you're okay with that politically? That seems to me crossing some sort of line of moral values there.
May I be candid?
Yeah.
I think that there is a significant Trump-supporting wing of the Republican Party that a state office holder dare not cross, because this Trump base reacts to this matter by saying, yeah, that's horrible. We don't approve of a man talking like that, but Donald just got caught by the media working with the Clinton campaign and saying what Bill Clinton has done. That's what I hear being said. And I think that Asa Hutchinson and Tim Griffin and Leslie Rutledge and John Bozeman have to keep that in mind. That this has sort of a subplot or a prevailing plot among the Trump base that is important to them, and they can't cross it. And I think that's a lot of what's going on here.
Let's move to Sunday afternoon. We're all kind of gearing up for how is all this going to play out at the debate. And then kind of out of nowhere, Donald Trump says, hey, I'm going to have a little media veil for a pre-debate press conference here.
Yeah.
And he walks out with these accusers of Bill Clinton who claim that he has sexually assaulted them over the years, or there's one that had a tie to Hillary Clinton. It was still shocking, even though you didn't see it coming.
No, when I first saw it on social media, I linked it, and it was an NBC report link, but I still was dubious about it. This looks like it might be made up, that he's actually brought these women to sit there in the debate, and it portended a debate that was going to be totally about sex, and it was unnerving. It indicated we were getting ready to have to endure 90 minutes of the lowest form of American politics. That didn't materialize, but I'm telling you what he's doing. He's Steve Schmidt, who was the campaign manager for John McCain, and does wonderful analysis for MSNBC. He said this is a race between the two most unpopular, the two most disliked nominees for president we've ever seen. The loser is the one who gets the most attention. I mean, in other words, nobody can stand either one of them, or most people can't stand either one of them. So the one that is more in the public eye will be the loser. Trump is losing because he's the one that's getting all the attention. He was taking a sort of a Hail Mary. Let's try to turn the attention from me to the fact that Bill Clinton behaved infamously, and Hillary has some hypocrisy in the way she has stood by him as compared to her rhetoric about defending and standing up for women. That's what it was about, but it really came to nothing. The women sat in the arena or in the stands or wherever they were, and nobody paid much attention to them, but I could tell. And
apparently they wanted them in the VIP box, and the debate, people that put the debate on would not let that happen. It would have forced them to shake hands with Bill Clinton when they came out for the introductions there.
That's kind of trivializing the whole concept of a presidential commission on debates and what they do.
Yeah.
We really ought to try to discuss a couple of actual issues for the American people in that case. But it was stunning. It seemed mean-spirited and stunning and cheapening to our dialogue when the news broke. It didn't really come to that. The women got a brief mention in the debate, I think, and that was it. And Hillary really didn't have to confront it, or chose not to confront it.
Yeah. How do you think the debate played out? Because all eyes were on Donald Trump. Many Arkansas politicians, as well as national ones, said he needed to show contrition. He did not in the debate. He just basically said, "This is still locker room talk." Then he claimed that when he was pressed that no, he had never sexually assaulted anyone. We'll see if that stands through the duration of the campaign. But how do you think the debate played out? How do you think he did? How do you think she did? How do you think the American public viewed their performances?
I think for the first half hour or so of the debate, she was appealing to her base, and he was appealing to his base, and all the sane, reasonable people in the middle were utterly sickened. I mean, it was wrestling. It was disgusting. He says her heart is filled with hate, and she says when he goes low, I'll go high, right after she had just said he was totally unfit for the presidency, and it was demeaning to our politics. As the debate, and I thought this thing's just a wash, and the story's going to be what a hideous affair, and that is still largely the story. But as it went on, I thought when you switch him to foreign policy, and also after you get past 45 minutes, he seems to kind of break down. His foreign policy stuff didn't make a lot of sense, and she did better when she talked about, he attacks me for my 30 years of public service. Let me tell you some of the things I've done. When she sort of presented a more positive message, so that in the end, the two scientific polls we've seen show that people thought she did better. So that's the way I thought it played out. Generally, a disgrace, a little bit of advantage to her. A tie would have gone to her, but I think most of
I think even a slight loss would have gone a little bit in her direction because of what I think will be the aftermath of these, the tapes that came out, the tape that came out. The fact that it hasn't really even factored into any of the polling that we've seen yet.
I think NBC has a poll that has her up by 7 head-to-head and 5 in a 3-way that was continued shortly after, but is not we don't have a full poll yet that's taken entirely after the tape. I think she's got to be 5 to 8 points ahead on her way to victory, unless something extraordinary happens. And something extraordinary is certain to happen, but I mean in a way that hurts her.
All right, I got about 60 seconds left. What will you be watching for the next 2 to 3 days?
I want to see the post-debate analysis. This morning on the Morning Joe, those two were talking about what a spectacular, epic performance by Trump to step up there under that pressure with his back to the wall and to do what he did. I didn't quite see it that way, but I'll be interested to see if there's any of that. Hillary's tactic was to kind of rope-a-dope him, let him punch himself out, huff and puff, and just say, I'm not going to try to challenge all of what he said because we're going to do fact-checking. She's counting on the media and the fact-checkers now to point out that he wasn't telling much of anything that was factual. If her rope-a-dope strategy works, and whether there are others like the two Morning Joe people who thought this was epic by Trump. I think they may be alone in that, but we will see.
Well, and also, Fox News will say that they.
And also Pence, who he seems to have decided. Trump is now not going anywhere. I think the debate, I know I've taken more than 60 seconds,
Okay.
but the debate solidifies that Trump is the one the Republicans are stuck with.
He's there till election.
He is.
Yep, I agree with you on that point.
All right.
All right, he's John Brummett. As always, we appreciate you very much.
My pleasure.
We're back with more right after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
It was a busy week on the business front. News from Walmart, a big but not quite super project, and some uncomfortable news on the state business front. Let's go inside the numbers for a closer look. 55, that's the number of stores that Walmart says it will open next year as the retail giant looks to slow store growth in an effort to put more money into its online sales infrastructure. 55 is still a good number of growth for about any American business, but last year, Walmart opened 230 new stores. That'll give you a little perspective. Negative 3.1%, that's how far below forecast net available general revenues were in September. It's the third straight month of falling short of state revenue based on projections there. Lower corporate tax and sales tax collections are to blame. Individual income taxes are holding steady. 4 million, as in trees, that's the number of tons of pine wood and other soft timber that the new $1.3 billion Sun Paper Company is expected to utilize annually when it eventually comes online. State forestry officials tell me that that's a little under half of the oversupply of forest timber currently in Arkansas's wood basket. You can keep up with our coverage on business stories like these each and every day at our website at talkbusiness.net. More to come right after this.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
You've likely heard of the Great Arkansas Treasure Hunt. In fact, you or your business may have property to claim in the hunt. But where does this treasure come from? Businesses like yours. The law calls it unclaimed property. If your business is holding money on its books that you've not been able to return to the owner, it's most likely unclaimed property, and the law requires it to be sent to the state auditor's office each year. Auditor Andrea Lea's office can make the process for businesses to comply with the law easy and straightforward. Help us help you return Arkansans' unclaimed property at auditor.ar.gov.
One of the big reports you can find on a quarterly basis on our website at talkbusiness.net is the Comprehensive Compass Report. It's underwritten by Zero Mountain Logistics. In the latest Compass Report, we see some continuing trends. Executive Editor Michael Tilley describes the big takeaways from Central Arkansas.
So what did we see for the Compass Report in Central Arkansas for the second quarter of 2016? Well, we saw a grade of C, which is down from a C plus in the first quarter and down from a C plus in the second quarter of 2015. But really what that indicated, it's not that the economy is moving in the wrong direction. It was just that the pace of growth wasn't as strong in those two quarters. Still have good job numbers, still a good low unemployment rate. Really where the pullback was, where the pace of growth slowed, was in building permit values. They were down a little bit. And associated decline was somewhat in construction jobs. Those pulled back a little bit. And really we saw flat and maybe a decline in some areas of Central Arkansas in terms of sales tax growth. So overall, a grade of C, not bad, still on a good pace, just not that healthy pace that they saw in the second quarter of 2015.
We'll have more analysis from Tilley on other sectors of the state from the Compass Report throughout this week. You can check out the full report now, if you'd like, at talkbusiness.net. That's all for today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you tomorrow.